Hello guys, welcome to another video. Vampire and Slime Back in Time, Rimuru x Luminous, by M_Swedgy. CH7, Forgetting and Moving Forward, Luminous, did I sleep? What happened? As I opened my eyes into the darkness of this damned cave, I wondered why was I even asleep in the first place. Just when I was recalling what happened before I slept, I almost started to see a red glow coming from my cheeks. Nothing happened. That's it. Absolutely nothing happened. I nodded to myself to calm down and almost reassure myself. I then grabbed the cloths lying beside me and started changing into them. Seeing them reminded me of what happened, as they were the reason for what happened. And nothing happened, which got me red once again. I smiled for a moment, staring at the cloths before bringing them closer to my face and almost hugging them. Then I undressed and wore them. Despite changing into something thicker and more insulating, I still felt cold. It was actually way colder when I woke up than before. So I was shivering so much that standing was hard. Luminous. Did you sleep well? I heard a certain comfort blob saying from behind me. Rimuru, I woke up in darkness, not hearing or seeing anything, just feeling of what I'm touching. I should activate magic sense, and when I did, I sensed something twitching behind me. It was Luminous. But when I saw her, I blushed and almost started to stutter. And so I just calmed myself down and tried to say what I wanted, but stopping before I started to stutter. Luminous. Did you sleep well? I asked her, not knowing exactly what I should even say in this situation. I rotated my face, head, whatever it was, I rotated it into her direction, and I saw her wearing the brown dress, made out of snake scales. It fits her quiet will, but I think black suits her even more. I also noticed that the twitching that I sensed from before has stopped when I talked. Yes, I did get a good sleep. My mind is somewhat clearer now. When I answered, I felt a bit happy that she was in a better condition, but I was still feeling worried for some reason. Now, what were we doing? Less than Master and Luminous-san were flim. I meant being cute ahem. What I wanted to say is that Luminous-san was training. And she just acquired Water Blade before starting to change her cloths. I advise Master to help Luminous acquire Water Mastery. Less than I should also note that Master has acquired Earth Mastery when he was digging underground greater than. Right. But why did you cough? Less than because it hasn't been long since I acquired emotions. I felt worried for Master since he suddenly decided that wanted to sleep after coming out of the tunnel he dug. And I stutter a bit, so I used coughing to focus on what I wanted to say. Greater than, if you couldn't guess, she's lying. Oh, I'm sorry to make you worried about me. Now, I then approached Luminous. I still have some leftovers of the snake. Do you want to have a breakfast with me? Sure, I'm a bit hungry anyway. I used Earth Mastery to create some stones since one of its sub-skills is Earth Creation, to make a table and a chair for Luminous. As I will just jump on the table. Have a seat, Luminous. They won't be comfortable as they are made of stone, but it's better than sitting on the ground. Then I made 2 plates, and next to one of them is a fork and a blunt knife. Well. Did Great Sage also make this? But how did you get the materials? Well, calling it materials would be an exaggeration since it's just stone. I just used Earth Mastery to make some stone. So you gained a skill in that short amount of time, huh? Yeah, but that isn't important right now. So let's just have breakfast. I took out 2 pieces of meat and put them on our plats. Sigh. She just sighed then smiled before she sat down on her seat. At first, she tried to cut the meat with the knife. But after noticing how dull it was, she dripped it with her sharpened nails. Its nails cuz lesser vampires are too weak to have claws. And just used the fork to pick the ripped and sliced pieces of meat. After 10 or so minutes, we finished having breakfast. So, what are we going to do right now? She asked me while her right hand holding her chin and elbow on the table. I and Great Sage will try to get you to acquire Water Mastery and Earth Mastery. After that we will try to get out of this cave. And maybe on the way kill some monsters to get some of my power back. Sounds like a good plan for right now, but the problem is how am I going to get back my power? Less than I have a few solutions. But I thinking waiting and seeing how thing will turn out for now might be better greater than. After hearing that, Luminous stood up and started walking back to the pound. I agree to what she said, so for now, I should get into acquiring water mastery. So, what should I do right now? Make balls out of water? I think that would get you water sphere. You basically have to just play with water and you will get it eventually. At least I think so. Sounds easy enough. At that moment I noticed something that was bugging me. Her face doesn't look bright. Is she annoyed, sad about something? She then went and started to try and manipulate water at the pound. In the meanwhile, I was annoyed because she had to eat raw food. I must find a way to light up fire. Maybe eating something that isn't raw would help her? So I tried to light up some fire. At first, I thought I could use 2 rocks to make a spark, but the cave was too damp for that to work, let alone other factors like getting good pieces of stone. Maybe I can make it with magic, but how? Maybe if I moved magicules and rubbed them against each other in air, maybe that way I could be able to create enough friction to create some fire? So, I did just that. I wasn't able to generate fire, but I was able to increase its heat somewhat. Maybe if instead of rubbing them against each other, I made them quickly clash on each other at an angle. When I did that, a spark appeared. Hence, I tried it more times, each time faster than the one before without any cooling time for 2 handfuls of magicules that I was controlling. And after a few tries, they combined while rotating in a circle, and magical fire was generated. Though it disappeared a moment after. Skill acquired. Ignition. Ah, that's cool, so now I can finally cook some meat. Less than not exactly, since this the skill equivalent of a lighter. So master will need to use something as fuel for it to sustain itself greater than. That's a bit of a problem since the only thing that can be burnt here is grass, which is bad as a fuel. Less than that's true, assuming that the fire is a normal fire. But as it's magical fire, it could burn the magicules inside the unmatured hypocoot herbs, in other words, the grass that is all around us greater than. Oh. Thank you great sage. Less than foof. Praise me more master, greater than. I was going to feed great sage's addiction because as we all, she absolutely deserved to be praised, but... Chew, I heard a small, almost adorable, sound from behind me, and behind me was the direction of the pound. Are you okay, Luminous? You don't need to learn, water master, if it's too cold? No Fin Chew. She got interrupted by a very high-pitched sound accompanied by some shivering, before she forcefully stopped her shivering. It's just that the cold water is irritating my nose a bit. Is it even possible to sneeze because of water? Less than a person can sneeze due to cold air, and as cold water is just the extreme of that, it is possible. But, greater than. Yeah, I noticed as well. She was fine before when she was learning Waterblade, but now she's sneezing because of the water. I didn't believe what she was saying. Her safety and comfort is very important to me right now, especially since I believe that keeping her safe is my responsibility as I was the one who put us in this situation. If only I was stronger. Less than. Greater than I hopped towards her and jumped into her arms before starting to generate heat with my body. Is it just me or did my body heat increase more than before, and I also feel that it's consuming less energy? Less than it's because master has acquired ignition, which lead to efficiency increase in heat generation greater than. Am I the only one who thinks that the character's way of talking change in every chapter of this fanfic? Oh, that's nice, especially since the entire reason I got this skill for was to comfort Luminous. Then I looked up and noticed that her face wanted to use expression, complexion, but I'm not sure if Rimuru uses that kind of words, and the small, almost anxious, frown on it, eased up into a smile. In fact, her whole body which was stiff a moment ago is now more relaxed. Do you feel better now? Or is it still cold? No, it's much better right now. I'm happy that it made you feel better, but I noticed how you're suppressing your shivering. I guess the new dress didn't help much. So I will stay close to you so that you won't get cold. You don't need to. It's not that bad anyway. No, I need to. You being comfortable and in a good condition is very important to me. Well, if you insist then I won't stop you. She averted her face which was slightly blushing away. Oh right. I should tell you that I acquired both Water Sphere and Water Shield, which lead to getting water manipulation. Wait, really? That quite fast? I was able to do it quickly due to me being a slime, which make it easier to throw out water in certain shapes and because I have great sage. And you acquired it this fast? Only just a few hours of learning how to control magicules. Perhaps you are a genius at magic. I was genuinely surprised as I didn't expect her to acquire water manipulation this fast. She smiled in her old, smug, haughty, and confident smile, and she only said, "Hey." Her eyes looks like they want more, but more of what? Why do I feel like I have heard that before, and especially with a smug and confident smile? Less than it's just your imagination greater than, huh? Well, it doesn't matter anyway. Then I guess getting water mastery won't take you long, but what's the difference between water manipulation and water mastery? And I remember that last time I only had water manipulation. Less than it's the difference in rank of control, and the ranking go this way. Control, which is oddly rare, equals greater than manipulation equals greater than mastery equals greater than domination. And the reason why Master only had water manipulation is because Master didn't try to get a higher level, and it was later replaced by the extra skill, molecular manipulation, which is much higher than any normal elemental skill. Control skill greater than, most of that isn't canon and is completely made up by me. Well, by what you said there should be something like water domination, right? How'd I acquire it? Less than not exactly. While water domination exists, it's a hassle to acquire it. And as we will try to get the other elemental skills, it will just take a lot of space in an individual's soul. So it's just better to get something like molecular manipulation, since it would take less space and is easier to acquire greater than. You're correct, but I first should focus on getting water mastery. She then proceeded to stick her right hand out, using it to manipulate water while holding me with her left hand. After less than 30 minutes, and with some small tips from Great Sage, Luminous acquired water mastery. I finally got it. Now should we try to get the other elemental skills? I actually have earth mastery, and while you were getting water manipulation, I got a fire skill, ignition. So you're going to try and get something, fire mastery, while I get earth mastery. Out of all the elemental skills, fire has to the hardest, so I'm going to leave it for last. So I will try to get the wind one since it seems to be easier while you get earth mastery, and on the mention of it, do you want me to help you get it? There's no need to. Now that I have learned how to control manuals and got the hang of how to acquire skills, I think I will get it very fast. She then sat on the grass and crossed her legs. She then put me on her legs and stretched her hands out, presumably to move the ground with only magic. And in the meanwhile, I tried to control the molecules in the air so I could control it. I usually don't try to get more power, but I don't want to repeat my mistakes. I don't want to mess things up again because I'm weak. And in that moments of reflection, not sure if this is the correct term, and while I was trying to move the molecules in the air. Extra skill acquired. Wind manipulation. I got wind, earth manipulation. Both of us shouted at the same time. Chuckles, you weren't joking when you said you were going to get it pretty fast. Well, we haven't mastered them yet. We then played with wind, earth to get them into mastery level. Which wasn't hard since all we needed to do was manipulating them into different shapes like a blade with wind to get wind cutter, or a wall with earth to get earth wall. But getting fire manipulation was harder than we expected since it required a very high amount of magicules to maintain the fire. And because of our very small magicules count, we were only able to get ignition, but that was good enough for now. Well, we got what we can for now. So let's start moving, said Luminous as she started walking to the exit of the chamber we are in. Before that, there is one more thing that I need to do, so could you wait a minute for me? Sure. She seemed a bit reluctant on letting me go out of her arms, and as I jumped, she instantly started to shiver. I guess it's really cold for her. I headed towards the hexagonal basalt pillar in the middle of the chamber. I bet you forgot about that detail. Some of the stalactites surrounding it were magic ore which I absorbed. But what was important was the vines on the pillar. I jumped up and stuck myself to it and absorbed a good amount of the vines. I wanted them because they were better than a normal rope and way better than anything I, Great Sage, could weave from the hippocute grass since these vines were also enriched by magicules. Then I got down and absorbed most of the grass close to me and Luminous, since I was running quite low on it due to how much I needed to use it to generate heat with my body. But while doing all of that, Great Sage was refining the magisteel as much as she could, even when I got back to Luminous's arms. Hey, Luminous, I have a gift for you, I said just as she was about to enter the tunnel in front of her and exit the chamber we were in. Oh, and what might that gift be? This, I said in excitement for her reaction as I took out a rapier from my stomach. The rapier was obviously made out of magisteel, but because I let Great Sage take her time refine it as much as she wants it became pretty high quality, so the rapier was rare grade. The guard of the rapier was shaped like a blossoming rose, which I'm proud to say was my idea. AKA it's his idea, not great sage's. That's why he's proud, and the hilt was covered by the vines I collected. It was used so it would be more comfortable to hold and easier to grip. Next to the rapier which was on my head was its sheath, which was made of medium quality magisteel and covered with some unknown red leather looking material. It was also embroidered with roses. I'm not that creative at designs, sorry. Great sage, what did you use to cover the sheath? Less than fufufu, I'm not going to tell you. Greater than, well, it doesn't matter. It's also worth noting that the rapier was covered, made out of some other unknown metallic material at certain parts. She looked a bit surprised as she saw the rapier. Wow, I didn't expect you to give me a weapon, let alone of this quality. And I also really like the design of both the rapier and its sheath. She then sheathed the rapier and held it in her right hand and held me with her free hand. I'm proud that you liked it since it was my idea, but that's not the end, and as I said Sue, I took out a belt-like vine with a small circle connected to its side, clearly meant to hold the sheath. Do you like it? Yes, and thank you once again. I can this way comfortably hold you with both of my hands, she said with a bright, beautiful smile directed towards me. The last part was moreover whispering to herself, but as I was using magic sense to hear my surrounding, I was able to hear it, but I chose to ignore it. Why did I suddenly taste sweetness? No, it must be my imagination. Less than it wasn't your imagination, master. Greater than, then why did I taste sweetness? Less than don't worry master. You will discover that very soon. Greater than. Aren't you keeping a lot of secrets lately? I want to complain, but I know that I can't win against you. So I'm just going to assume that they are some small things. Less than if they were, then I wouldn't have kept them secret. Greater than, What do you mean? Less than nothing. Greater than, Regardless, Luminous wore the belt and attached her sheathed rapier to it. Then held me with both her hand again and marched forward. I wonder when will we meet Veldora.